Previously on StarTroopers of the Federated Union.
Aliens who live inside a wormhole sent the Buddy Holly songs back in time, along with the promise that one day somebody would come along and explain it all.
Before I went back to Earth, I had to make a detour to the one place in the Federated Union where they kept anything that you might need for time travel.
The planet was pretty much divided between the Hollyists and the Peggysuians. Now the Peggysuians pretty much lived in the jungle. They were hunted by floating tentacle monsters. The gravity would just randomly shut off and their shit would just be floating everywhere for days and weeks at a time. I mean, imagine just like having no gravity at all.
First Officer's Log, Stardate 009. While the Captain is back in 1976, we've taken on a new crew member while we wait for him at the Time Depot. Love is real, brother, not fade away. Although Lieutenant Jerry is an Orthodox Peggysuian, and I come from a strictly Hollyian background, he and I had studied together at the STFU Academy and were old friends. While I was busy on the bridge making some minor course corrections, Lieutenant Jerry was hard at work in the engine room with one-eyed robot Spider. May I join you?
Of course you may. So you know Sonny from school, huh?
Yes, we are old friends. Even though on our home planet, the subjects of politics and religion would have divided us long ago.
Are those subjects more important on Buddy Holly?
At home, things are much different. Everything is so much more important. The Hollyists even blame us for their gravity shortages. But when you get to know people one-on-one and you serve with them, things are different. We can still disagree about things, but we don't fight about stupid shit like that.
I need you to lie still for me while I run these scans. Why don't you go ahead and just talk a little bit while we're waiting? I haven't met Lieutenant Jerry yet. I understand you grew up together.
We went to academy together. I didn't really know him well. He was kind of annoying. I know the answer. STFU. But we get along fine. We just don't talk about religion.
Your religions can't be that different.
Well, there's always something to fight about. We revere Gary Busey, and they consider him a false prophet. And do you know that they actually paint themselves blue?
I did not know that. As a doctor, you'd think that I would, but no.
We live on the same planet, but our people are very different. Plus, we have to deal with some pretty bad gravity shortages. I lost 3 of my 7 grandparents to gravity shortages.
I'm sorry to hear that. Losing a family member is never easy.
Especially when it's just that you don't know where they eventually landed.
It's weird that you don't have your own place.
I told you, it's just a plot device. So, I had lunch with Jerry and Brad today.
Please stop calling him Brad. It's disrespectful of his culture.
Yeah, he said that, but then he said he didn't mind. Anyway, this Jerry, he's a hell of a nice guy. I thought his religion was very strict, but turns out he's really open-minded.
Well, that shouldn't surprise you. I was speaking to Commander Sonny today, and he's always been a very thoughtful being. The poor man lost 3 of his 7 grandparents in a gravity shortage.
Oh, yeah. Jerry mentioned those today, too, those gravity things. He said they don't fight about stupid shit like that when they're on ship.
Wait, you think it's stupid that he lost 3 of his 7 grandparents and he doesn't know where they are?
I didn't say that.
Captain's Log Supplemental. Well, my trip to 1976 was a dud. I wound up sitting around a bar with a bionic man, a time-traveling slee stack, an Amish kid on spring break, and some guy whose name I didn't catch. The virus was in Sam's fake bionic eye, so I made him throw it out. And it turned out the Amish kid was a Terminator anyway, so we blew him up in the parking lot. Having spent 3 hours with us in a bar, I don't think he minded too much.
Know now why you drink so much.
Back on board ship, Dr. Gorilla and Larry weren't speaking to one another. Neither were my chief engineer and my head of security. The only two who were getting along were the two that seemed to have the most to argue about. Now, it may be that a better man than I would get involved and help them resolve all their personal issues. Me, I like to keep out of it.
Big giant monster.